Hello. Hi, I'm WhiteCrow. I've been thinking about something. We've had the whole election fiasco and everybody going back and forth, and it's all smoke and mirrors. We have to understand. Tell me what president we have put in office in the last, let's say, 8 elections, maybe more, who have done exactly what they say they're going to do in their campaigns. We have to pay close attention because the smoke and mirrors that have been going on for decades now is just there to turn around and keep you looking in a different direction, to keep you confused in what's really going on out there. Now, my prediction of the Donald Trump election, him being able to get the presidency, came true 100%. Because I know that if we would have been with Hillary being elected, we would already be in a conflict with Russia. Now, what's interesting, and the reason I'm doing this video right here, is because of the Syrian situation. Exactly the same thing that has happened with the Trump administration in Syria right now. They tried to push through with Obama. Also, during the Obama administration time, they found out that it was actually the rebels who had dealt the chemical weapons, had fired the chemical weapons. We've seen the videos of it. The rebels admitted to it. But even the Obama administration had turned around and kept saying, oh, no, it's Assad, it's Assad. We're getting the same thing here. From my information, that there was not a chemical dump, but an ammo dump, and these chemical weapons were in that ammo dump, and it was controlled by the rebel forces. So Assad bombs them and turns around, and of course, when you bomb something, you're going to blow up everything in there, and that's chemical weapons too. Now, one thing that I have to say about this, even when I was in Vietnam, we were bombing ammo dumps and enemy supply lines. We didn't know everything that was in there, so I believe that's the same thing with the Assad. They had no idea the chemical weapons in there. I can't say for a surety, but one thing that I do know is when you go after enemy supply lines, you're trying to destroy what's ever there. So, in my view, this isn't a situation where Assad has fired weapons into chemical weapons into the enemy positions or rebel positions. It looks like on both sides there's a mistake. Number one, the rebels shouldn't have had the chemical weapons to begin with. And, Assad and the war situation over there in the U.S. becoming involved in it, we shouldn't be there. Period. We shouldn't be there. Well, what we're finding out now is, of course, the U.S. intel services, which have been wrong many times in their intelligence gathering. In Vietnam, we used to make a comment, when they talk about intelligence. We go, well, there you go, because a lot of times their intelligence are wrong. And that's no different today, no matter what the technologies or anything they have. Let's see the proof. They should show the proof to the American people and the world about these communications that they get. And I don't care what they turn around and say about, well, we can't show this because of this and this and this. You can too. You can talk about, knock off the names, blank out the names, but show, where this information came from. You don't have to show how it was acquired, but you should have to show the information before you go bomb somebody, and drag the American people into a situation and into a conflict that we really don't want. Mr. Trump has promised a lot of things. And now, next thing we know, he's in the war machine, just like Obama was in the beginning. Obama had more airstrikes and drone strikes than any other president. So we have to look at the situation. I can understand keeping America safe, but the struggles that are going on in Syria right now are internal. This is a revolution within the country. And we shouldn't be getting involved in other people's situation. Now, I can agree helping take out ISIS. I have no problem with that. But they're just trying to topple and destabilize another area. I've heard it from political individuals, military individuals, and myself and my contacts. So we need to really look at this. I think we need to back out of this situation because Russia's already there. Now, coalition forces working together, including Russia, to get ISIS out, I see no problem with. But even the people there now are protesting and everything and wanting Assad to stay in there. There's a reason. This is tribal stuff. This goes back many, many thousands of years, actually. They've been fighting over there for a long, long time, and I really don't see this stopping right now. We destabilize Iraq, we destabilize Libya, we destabilize a lot of countries. In all actuality, those countries that we took out their leaders and everything was the sole stabilizers of that particular area of the Middle East, Egypt, things of this nature. These countries are not part of the central banking system, so we need to look at that as well. So that's kind of my thoughts on this whole situation that's going on in Syria right now. I think we need to really back away from there. And, understand and get into other things, where we can be helpful to the countries in those areas and to the people. Like we have another strike. Allied forces turn around and coalition forces turn around and struck Syria again. This time they killed 16 to 18 innocent individuals. I mean, they were warriors, but we bombed our own positions. A lot of this happened in Vietnam. Death by friendly fire, as we say. Now, I want to touch on the North Korean situation here. The reason I want to touch on the North Korean situation is because this is very volatile. China has moved 50,000 or more troops onto their northern border their southern border with North Korea, and missile launchers, all kinds of stuff. They're getting ready for some things to happen, even though, and Trump and our administration has said they'll go it alone here to take out this leader. Now, I agree. Something has to be done about this Kim Jong-un. He's getting out of hand. He has 20 nuclear weapons already. And if we go in there, we know that he's going to try to use some of them nuclear weapons. Now, I believe that we can take a lot of them out. We're not too good at taking things out when they're taking off. When they're coming back down is when we usually get them. So let's just say that 1 or 2 nuclear weapons goes off, in South Korea or Japan, Japan area where we have some of our bases and everything. This is going to be devastating to those countries 100%. And guess what? Happens then the U.S. government, construction companies, and everybody, just like we did in Iraq and everywhere else, will go in and they'll start rebuilding the countries. And those elite people who are involved in all this will be making all the money, the big contractors and people that are working with the government. This is what they do. They destabilize and they go in, put their own people in, and they bring their construction companies and people in, and they rebuild the country, and they make billions of dollars. And like I said, I agree something has to be done with Kim Jong-un and the nuclear programs out there. We do not need a bunch of radical countries, out there right now, turning around and using their nuclear weapons against the people in their local areas, against the United States or anybody. Nuclear weapons, as far as I'm concerned, on this planet should be banned 100%. As a matter of fact, the way I think about it, we should take the leaders of these countries and their families, and even our country. If we want a leader that's going to create war, put them out there first. How come none of these politicians their children are out there on the front lines? You don't see that. It's the average individual out there. That's what's happening there. And with the unrest that we're seeing in our country, I think we need to really stop and stabilize our own country and start thinking about what's going on here, and listen to the people of America and what we need and our needs. Before we go out there and start helping everybody else. So basically, my friends, it's business as usual, and we're going to see a lot more of this. But the fact of the North Korean situation, they can't account for a lot of their submarines, and I've been watching this since day one in North Korea. I've been watching their submarine fleet. They cannot account for quite a few of their submarines. I've always said that they were on the way to the West Coast and things of this nature. We already know Russia has submarines off our west and east coast. China is out there too. We have to be very careful here. This is a very volatile situation, especially this particular time in history of the world. We have environmental concerns and all kinds of stuff. As far as the planet goes, Trump really don't care about that. We're talking about a billionaire. His family and everybody is pretty well taken care of. They'll be watched after and over and everything else. It's the little guys. You, me, and the rest of America and the rest of the world out there don't need to have a nuclear conflict. We are very close to a limited nuclear conflict, I think, with the Korean Peninsula. And Kim Jong-un seems that he's ready to go. And to be honest with you, I look at him as just one of them people that if you turn around and fire one round into his area, try to take him out, if you don't do it effectively and efficiently, well, then you are going to have the launch of some nuclear weapons. I know for a fact from other sources and everything that he has several missiles ready to go already strategically aimed. They will hit with a barrage of artillery fire, everything they can, other rockets and everything. Then they'll use those nuclear weapons. So we have to be very careful here. My thought is on this, yes, he needs to be taken out. Too bad that there wouldn't be a coup. And from what I've heard, that they have people in there that are trying to do that, trying to get the higher echelons of the North Korean government to turn around and take him out. Facts are, a lot of the higher echelons of the North Korean government and situation have left the country, and they're in other countries now seeking asylum. This is a very ruthless individual, and if he does gain a nuclear hold on that part of the country, even China is going to be in a situation where they're going to have to eventually fight him. So it'd be wise if China and everybody got involved and took this leader out and then unified both North and South Korea. So the situations in North Korea could be nullified, less people in prison camps, things of this nature. And I'm not saying whip a little U.S. on them, democracy or anything. Let these two nations work their systems out. And it could be like, North Carolina, South Carolina. You got two different areas, of a state here. And, well, you can have North Korea and South Korea still and everything, but they need their economic situation reinstated. Families should be able to go see one another and everything. So that's kind of my morning feeling here on this situation, and this is Thursday. It's 4/13/2017 at 10:47 here a.m. in California. And, I'm not worried about being hit by nuclear weapons here, this and that. The fact of the matter is, I'm going to be honest with you personally, I've already got information that North Korea has subs off the West Coast. So we need to stop being fighting amongst one another and start looking at, what's going to happen in the world and the United States and other countries in the future. And with the threat of nuclear weapons, not many people have a chance. If they launch something off the coastline, you're not even going to have 30 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes to get ready. If they launch something from a submarine, you got what, 5 minutes? What are you going to do? You can't even get home from work, during that time, unless your job is next door. So we need to start telling these politicians and contacting Washington. And I put information on Facebook on my timeline on how you can contact Washington and start telling them, listen, get out of Syria. And if we're going to do something about this North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, we need to do it quick, fast, and in a hurry. And we need to have coalition forces there too. So, but I also see a high chance that they'll fire one of these nuclear weapons out towards our ships and everything and detonate it in the air. What they would try for really to take out America would be an EMP on the West Coast or East Coast. That would do the deal. But think about this. We got Iran, North Korea, China, Russia. We need to be careful here. We need to do some thinking instead of be, the big kids on the block. Oh, you're going to do what I say. We need to all come to some type of agreement because now we're right back in the Cold War status, but that's what the elite want. They want everybody worried. They want everybody fighting because by doing that, they control. When the public and the people of the world turn around and unite together en masse and say no more, then that's the only time, that's the only chance that our normal populaces will be able to have freedom and not worry about being nuked or anything of this nature. So that's just my personal thought today. And I think that everybody needs to really stop and think about that. And I think that they also need, like I said, to contact Washington, D.C. If you go to my timeline on my Facebook, I have a post there that gives the phone numbers to Washington, D.C. and other numbers, emails, things like this, on how you can contact them. So right now is the time to start doing this because it seems that Trump has handlers now. His words were great in the beginning, but everything seems to be dissuaded or moved in a different direction now. We're going right back into the war machine, the one thing we don't need. Okay, this is WhiteCrow saying, man, do some thinking, and peace to everybody out there. We need more harmony and understanding and spiritualness and sciences and everything working together for betterment of mankind. But it seems now, even with this new administration, we're looking at more war. And this time, closer than any other time in history besides the situation with Cuba. We're close to going to nuclear war. We're very close now with the North Korean situation. We got to be careful. Okay, well, y'all have a good day, and I will continue giving updates on a weekly basis now and bringing more things to light. And we'll be talking about Antarctica here real soon and what's going on there. All right, y'all have a good day now. Bye.